Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he has signed a newly approved congressional map as part of the nationwide redistricting battle. Florida's new map is expected to help Republicans get 4 GOP-leaning seats in the upcoming midterms. Not a guarantee, of course, that Republicans will win all of those races. 8 states, though, have had mid-decade map redrawings in recent months, and in total, Democrats added 10 seats in their favor, Republicans 13. And the redistricting battle may just be beginning. Last week, the Supreme Court struck down a congressional map in Louisiana, ruling it relied too much on race when the state created a second majority-minority district. Louisiana is delaying its House primary as a result of the ruling. It could also lead to more states redistricting using the new precedent set by the High Court. CBS News Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, joins us. So are we now in just this never-ending cycle of redistricting? And what impact would that have?
Well, maybe. So let's break this down and first remind everybody what we mean, not just by redistricting, but also by gerrymandering. So I'm going to here's the map of the 2024 House, and I'm going to do this sort of cartoonish way of breaking up voters, in this case, red and blue. So a couple of things you can do when you're gerrymandering, if you're trying to, is you can take, let's say we take all of these blue voters and we can pack them into one district like this, if you draw the lines that way, and then the red voters dominate everywhere else. The other way, a little bit the same, but different kind of drawing, is you take a single, let's say, blue voter, and you put them in with a whole bunch of red voters, and they're outnumbered. That's what we mean when you talk about one party or another can pick up districts. They've made changes to their state lines such that more partisans are in those districts to give them an advantage depending on who draw the lines. That's part one. But if I go back now to the national map and I show you, you talked about the Voting Rights Act, that could have an impact throughout the South, especially where we're already seeing some state governors, talking about Louisiana and some others, that might then go and try to redraw their lines as well. And that would affect those potentially majority-minority districts that you mentioned.
Let's get into that. How minority communities, minority voters will be impacted by this new normal.
So the Voting Rights Act has been interpreted, including by the Supreme Court in subsequent years since the '65 Voting Rights Act, to mean that voters could say or argue that drawing of the lines, like I just did, would dilute their voting power, either that they were spread out too much across districts, that they couldn't represent or elect a representative of their choice. Well, such districts that are under or formed protected by the VRA are across the country in many states. In the South, in particular, you have a lot of black voters, and when you see these blue places here in the Deep South, those are, yes, Democrats win those districts, but many of them, if not all of them, are minority-majority districts. And so if those start to go away, then you could see some of those voters feeling like they didn't get to represent somebody that they otherwise would have. And if I go back then to the map, and you alluded to this earlier, you've got the gains for each party that you've seen already, but then you could start to add some of these southern states that could change and add, in this case, maybe to the Republican column as a result of that.
Okay. Anthony Salvanto, thank you.
Thanks.